to find different things about my ancestors that I already have the names of. I've been doing this for over 40 years. I enjoy doing it. I love doing it, but I get so excited about finding out new things and stuff. When I left off last week, we were working on Granddaddy Johnson and Grandma Johnson, who she was a Wilson. And so I am going to now go backwards in time and show you how to add a family. All you got to do, this is the C. Let's put Grandma's birth date in since I know. Let's move you up here out of the way. Right here would be a good spot for me. Okay, so over on this side, you'll see Grandma's name. She married Granddaddy. So now we're going to fill in those details. She was married born 11/14 of 1918. And she was born at Hawks Nest. Whoops, let's take off. Fayette County, West Virginia. That was a coal mining town back in the day, and that's where she was. And I'm assuming her sister, which was older, Evelyn was her name, but she passed away. You'll see that when we get to Grandma Wilson. She passed away of what they called the swine flu back in the day. I think she was about 6 years old when she passed away. Now, Grandma Johnson passed away on 3/27/1987. And the reason that I remember that was because I was pregnant. Excuse me, pregnant with Christy at the time. And she died in the Charleston area hospital. And Charleston is in Kanawha County. Now, if I'm going too fast for you all when we're doing these things and you have a question or you have a specific thing that you want to add to, just put it in the comment section or send me an email at journalthroughlife@gmail.com. And that way I will be able to know and help more information on the computer. Now, on my other file that I have on this thing, I have all of what I've put in up to date. But I decided I'm going to go back and do notebooks like this. And I'm going to put information in. Now, the generation 1 will be my generation. You can see that. And then my kids, my grandkids, and then the great-grandkids. So that if I'm alive or if somebody takes this over after I'm gone, they can just add in a plus whatever generation to add the new generations in when my great-grandkids have kids. I got to get me a drink of water. Hold on. I don't know if it's something that's coming up through this vent that's right under me. Oh, when I get so excited to do this kind of stuff. Anyway, so now we have all of Grandma's information. Let's see. Let's hit the enter button, and you'll see now that it filled in all this space. Granddaddy died January the 26th of 1968. Whoops. And it'll tell you. And he died in Montgomery, at the Montgomery Hospital, which is also in Fayette County, West Virginia. Now, those are the pertinent information that you need on to start your family tree. When they were born, when they died, where they died at. If you know, like Granddaddy Johnson is buried in the Westlake Cemetery. I am so sorry, guys. Westlake Cemetery, Anstead, Fayette County, West Virginia. Now, they were married on July the 20th, 1935. I may have to put you on pause so I get over this cause. And they were married here in Ansted, Fayette County, West Virginia. Now, if I have a member of my family that at this point they died early, like Evelyn, she died early, and so she never had a spouse. Down here at the bottom, I could put it down there where it's supposed to be. No spouse or children. And therefore, when I'm looking and I see all this information and that's not filled in, I know that's information that I don't need. But until you know that, you can't really put that in, because back in the day, there was a lot of children that passed away at an early age. A lot of accidents happened. So some of the lines got stopped. And that's the biggest thing with doing genealogy is you'll be going forward and then all of a sudden that line just, stops. Well, it obviously didn't stop with your particular ancestor because you're here. So anytime that you're working on your genealogy, remember there is somebody that took you all the way from way back yonder when to today because you are here. It may be a little elusive. It may be harder to find. It may be more a thrill of the chase. But if you have any of Sherlock Holmes in you, you will be able to and excited about going back and finding. And now I can't tell you the number of people that I have in our family, but just currently on my Johnson file on this computer, I have over 8,000 names. So, and each one of those names have a story, and you need to understand what they were going through, how they were going through, what was the time like, because I think that people today have forgotten that all the stuff that their ancestors went through, all of it, makes them who they are today. Then you can take it and run and you can feel sorry for yourself and you can sit down and you can just, oh, poor, pitiful me. My ancestors was blah, 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 blah. Or you can say, look, they made it through. I'm here. Let me make something so that my grandkids will be as happy to say, oh, I'm here. So let's don't dwell so much on as much negativity as they got in the world, because it will breed itself. It will be everywhere. Breed some positivity. Look at this funny little story I found about my family. Let's more concentrate on that. So now we're going to get into where I'm going to tie in mom and dad and their line back, or mom's line back. So now we're going to go to Robert and Dolly Mae and add a child. Now on this, you're going to put in Robert Rondell Johnson. And he was a male. We know that because he was my dad. If you do not know if it's a name that's questionable when you go through, and there'll be plenty of them, when it's questionable, just simply leave the unknown up there. Now, if somehow or another down through the line you found out this unusually beautiful name belonged to a male versus a female, you can always go back into this little button right here and change it. And when you change it, it is going to put him, bring him up in the female spot. Or heaven forbid, you put the female spot on instead of the male. Just simply go back under his name, change it back to male. And this computer program automatically changes. If you're doing pen and paper, you don't have to worry about it. If you accidentally put it in, your paper is spongeable. Simply rewrite your information and change it to the spot where you want it. If it is the male and you put males all on the top of your individual sheet, simply put out a new sheet and put him on the top and put her on the bottom. However you want to do your particular genealogy is up to you. I'm simply doing mine. So now we got Dad, and Dad was born September. I don't know why I'm doing that the hard way. Let's go here and let's put 9/23/1935. Oops, it still did not take the September. Okay, guys. Don't make me look silly in front of my people. And Dad was born here in Anstead, Fayette County. See, once you've used it one time, it comes automatically up. And then Dad died, I wanted to say 3/5/1989. I'll have to look for sure, but I think that was it. And he died in the Oak Hill Hospital, also in Fayette County, West Virginia. And him and Mom were married in October of 1955. I'm not sure the date. I'd have to look that up. And I don't have my paperwork right out here. I'm just running off of what I have in the computer already. I can look, but I want to show you the things that you can fill in. What you know is what you know. What you don't, leave it alone, because you can always add a date into that. It's simply as now doing it pen and paper. This is your most wonderful asset if you're not using a pencil. A pencil is your best thing, but trust me, over time, pencil lead fades. I don't care which pencil you use, the pencil lead will fade. So you need to make sure, and if you're getting older, like I am, you want to have it as dark as possible so that you can read it. Don't do like I did and find 15 names in one night and try to scribble, because you will be trying to read your own handwriting. Take your time. If you have 15 new people to put in your genealogy, take your time and write it legibly so you don't have to do it over and over and over again. Write it in one color ink, suggestion, if you're doing it the paper way. Put it in one color ink, and then as you go back and somebody tells you a new detail that you didn't have, or you confirmed a new detail that you didn't have, put it in a different color ink. And that way, when you get ready to put it in a program, you'll, and the date that you found that information, put you in the little comment section, put the first date you started on, and then in the same color that you're adding the new information, put that date that you find that new information. And you will be surprised how many details you can fill in as you're going through doing that. Okay, so now let's add Mom. There's something about I told this story before on my other channel. When I worked at the park, lightning hit through the ground, came through the telephone, through me, through the computer, and hit the hard drive on the bottom. Ever since then, my hand is like little, it don't feel like it's got it in there, but if I'm anywhere near a computer screen, everything wants to dance around all over the place. All right, so we now have Mom in, and her birth date was 12/28/1938. And she too was born in Anstead, West Virginia. She passed away 9/19/19 or 2019. Was it 2019? I'm pretty sure. No, 2020. Because that was after COVID hit and we couldn't go down there. So it must have been, excuse me, guys, I got to look. Okay, I'm going to bring up my other tree here for a second. That's as easy as it is to switch from tree to tree. Okay, let's look up Francis, Arlene Francis. 2020. She died September the 19th, 2020. Okay. So let's go back to the other one. You'll see where I'm flipping back and forth, but I should have looked at them anyway. Okay. So it was 9/19/2020. And she also died in Charleston in Kanawha County. All right. So, and they were born here in Anstead, West Virginia. I mean, married here. Okay, let's see. So now we're going to go from here and we're going to bring up Mama right here and we're going to add her father. So now we have Dad's parents in. So now we're going to add Mom's parents in. I'm trying to put I should have put it all in caps, but I'm trying to make a difference between it and my other one so I can remember which file I'm in. And he was a male and he married Lottie Opal McCutcheon. Okay. So now we have two sides of the family. We have, and you'll see this little tree right here beside Granddaddy. That's going to say Granddaddy is the root person. Just like when you're doing mine, when we're on my side of the thing, it will show that I am the root person. So anybody that's, coming before or after, you can, if you hit that little yellow button, you'll come right back down to me. And see that when it comes up, it tells you all the information that you currently have in there about them. All right, so now we have Donald Bernard Hankins. Little interesting fact about Granddaddy Hankins is his mother, when they were born, there was 9 of the kids, only gave them first name. Granddaddy's name was Bernard. Every one of their names, they only had one plus their last name, and every one of them started with a B. Every single one of them started with a B. And she told them when they got older, they could pick their second name. So Granddaddy chose Donald. So that's how come Granddaddy's name is Donald Bernard. All right, so now, and he married Lottie Opal McCutcheon, which was Grandma Hankins. If you hear me talking about her on any channel, that was my Grandma Hankins. So now that we know all that stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a small web search. I don't know why that keeps coming down there. And the web search is going to take me to ancestry.com. I have 3 different sites: Ancestry, Family Search, and RootsWeb. You can also search these straight from the ancestry.com website. So now you're going to slide up. It's going to say Donald Bernard Hankins. So we're going to search. Now, this is going to come up with the who is doing it. But if you don't see any other information other than, let's go into hers, other than the information, it's going to come up that this is a private data. That means you have to contact this person, contact her in order to find. She has 10,375 people in her tree. Now, it does not tell me, because it's not in there, how she is kin to us, so that I could then contact her and say, hey, I'm Donald Bernard Hankins' granddaughter, and was noticed that you were on the ancestry.com with a family tree and was just wondering how you were kin to Donald Bernard Hankins. And then that way we can tie the two of us in as part of the same family. All right, so now we're going to go backwards. And so you'll find that information. Now you can go down. Here is his death index. It tells, it will bring it up. Sometimes it will bring up the actual death certificate over here, but this one's not going to do it. It will tell you that he was born on November the 1st. No, he died November the 1st, 1971. I remember it well. Um, he died in Fayette County. He was married. His father's name was Madison, which Hezekiah, but I don't spell that. And Louisa um, was actually Lula Alice, but they always called her Louisa. So this is the information that people put in about different things or have been turned in. But the reason I brought you to this page is there's a search result detail. Because I know this information is pretty much correct, I can merge this in now with Donald Bernard Hankins. His name is correct. His birth date is correct. He was married and he lived in the United States. We can now add his mother. And we can now add his father because that is generally the name. It's not the exact name, but this is his wife. Now, if you run across one that this one's going to merge in now, this gives you a source. I told you to always remember to have 3 sources. This will now give you a source as to where this information came from. Let's go back. Now you have the source of the West Virginia U.S. Death Index, 1853 to 1973. That is now attached to that file. So that is one source. Always be diligent because sometimes they will put sources on that are not sources, information from the sources that I ain't gonna say it's incorrect. I'm gonna say it does not match what you have already found. I found that it is so, although it's time consuming, it's better if you actually do hands-on sleuthing, where you go to the library and you go to the cemeteries and you go to the courthouse and stuff like that, that you actually go and find your 3 sources that you can actually see, touch, whatever, rather than depending on the information that somebody, because where I was able to merge that in, if I did not already know that information and put that information in, then I find out later that it was the incorrect information. It's really a long process to get that information out because that person will be tied to mom and blah blah blah. There's just a couple names in this one, but 8,000 names. You don't know how that's connected as it goes down. So if you delete him off, then all the information that you had from him on down the line is done. So you really have to, kind of make sure that the information that you're finding is as correct as it can be. And nobody's ever going to have it 100% correct because I've told you before that mine and Timmy's wedding date is registered wrong at the courthouse over in Fayetteville. We were actually married on a day later than what they have over there. So I know it. That's my first line source contact is me and Tim because we were there. Timmy's mom's still living. She was with us, but mom's gone. So now I'm the first line contact. So when you want a second contact, of course, you're going to go to the courthouse to get a copy of the marriage license. But if you tell them that we were married on August the 9th, which is what I have in here, they're not going to find that marriage certificate under August the 9th because they put it in file. I've seen it. I've got a copy of it. It's in there on the 8th because the preacher put it in the wrong date. But it's still as legal as it can be because that's exactly I married him. Everything else is 100% correct. Just the date was different. So that's the thing. Now you can go into this. Has got the Social Security application and claims. Some of these places will put their actual Social Security number on there. So if that is something that you're interested in to know, their Social Security number, some places even have that in there. But this just simply tells who he was, who he's married to, and what one of his children was. And then you got to find a grave is a good contact thing. Um, some people will go actually to the grave sites. Like this is Granddaddy Hankins' actual grave marker. See if I can bring it up for you to see. And see, now there's a picture of Granddaddy. Ooh, hoo, hoo. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can merge this information in to here. It still say Louise Alice, but it's actually Lula. And the reason that I know it was Lula is because her dad was Christopher Burns, and his will has her listed as Lula Alice. And there is Hezekiah Madison. And I'm going to put the name that I have. That is the correct name. And then we have Lottie Opal. I'm just merging this information in as I know that it is correct. Let me back up. You can go back. See, I have it as Lottie Opal McCutcheon. The person from the website is using her married name because obviously they did not know what her maiden name was, but I do. So I'm leaving this highlighted so that I can keep that particular information intact. And see, this is mom. So now we can add in the kids with just hitting the add button and then merge it in. Okay, close. Now I don't think, no, but let's see. Go back to facts. Photo was added by Jeremy Anderson. Okay, so I could add photos into this if I wanted to. I would like to have that. I have that picture. Mom has that picture, that exact one. That was when he was in the service. Save to clipboard. Okay. And then I could print it. And we'll let you see what it looks like when we print it. Okay, so we're going to go back. Must be copying something because it's being a pain in the. Okay. Now let's see if we can go back to people and see if we can add a new photo. Nope. See, it says it copied it to the clipboard, but it's not there. Okay. I was just going to show you how to put a photo in, but we can do that later. We'll bring up somebody that we actually do have a photo on. Now we're going to go to Grandma McCutcheon, Grandma Hankins. I hate that thing gets down over my stuff I need to do. Go back into web search. We need to get out of Granddaddy. And then highlight Grandma up here again. And then it'll change to Grandma. You'll have to do that because if you don't make sure that that person that you're researching is in that search site, of course, it's going to be. Now, this one is from the Cole family, which I think probably is Linda. And something neat that, oh, that's a picture of Grandma. Oh, look at that. And you have to pay attention because when you're doing these research, some of these different families will come up. And you can't go into a specific family on Ancestry. But this is what Grandma looked like. This is Grandma. There you go. All right. So Let's go back and see Grandma's information is the same. She was born September the 20th and she died March the 27th, 1985. And she married Granddaddy October the 22nd. So we're going to add this, all this detail. All this is easy details. You just make sure that they're correct because you don't want to see this is her dad. And I know this stuff, like I said, because I've got it in my side. Okay, that is Granddaddy. So we'll merge him in. Let's see, did I merge them or did I add them? Yeah, okay. And then this is another one. See, we have all these are are their children. So we need to add Aunt Louise and add Uncle Eugene. And Uncle Clinton is on there, so all we got to do is merge him. And Aunt Geraldine we need to add. Excuse me, Aunt Dory we need to add. And Mommy is on there, so we'll merge her in. Now there is one more. Merge this in. Oh, paper is out. Okay. So there we go. Now our information matches. So we're going to go back to the people because this is Uncle Clinton, Uncle Eugene, Aunt Louise, Geraldine, Dolores, and Francis. But, and I think the reason that they don't have the other one on there, it is Aunt Mary, but she's still living. So that particular information, if you do not want that information to go into the family tree or into the internet at live, you don't put that in there. So I'm not going to add her, even though I know there's another one. I'm not going to add her onto the site that I'm showing you all this stuff on because she is still living. Aunt Dolores, however, is not living. So let's see if we can bring Aunt Dory up in web search. There we go. We got to go back to the spot where the names are, bring up Aunt Dory and do a search. And see, there's another Hankins. See all these people that are kin to us somehow. And that's not even the Aunt Dory that here it is. This is Dolores. This is the federal census that shows she was on the census. Let's bring that up so you can see it. Let's up, can't be displayed. And sometimes that happens. Let's see if the 1941 can show up. There we go. Now you can just press on the picture. When it comes up, the internet's slow because we've been storming. Okay. You will want to just hold your mouse down and move it up. Then you can scroll in and you're going to see this is a 1940 census. Okay, so we have Bernard, which is Granddaddy, Lottie, which is Grandma, Clinton, Eugene, Louise, Geraldine, Dolores, and Francis. So that is all the people with the exception of Aunt Mary. And the reason Aunt Mary isn't on there, I'm pretty sure she was born in 1940. So therefore, she probably was, Grandma was pregnant with her while they were doing the census that year. So, which tells me because Aunt Mary was born in the springtime that they did the census early that year. So let's see what the census will tell you. This is all the same place, same house. So they all lived in the same one. So usually over here, it will tell you the house number and if it was owned or rented. So at that time, wherever granddaddy was living at, he was renting. That's useful information. And how much the house is worth, and was it a farm? Which his answer is no. So there we go. And this was in 1940, but it doesn't tell you where it was. Fayette, oh, in Ansted. So he was living in Ansted at the time. Um, let's see if let's now this is the good part about this. You can go back, go up to the top, and see Mount Cove distance at Ansted. And you can find out who it was that did the actual census that year. And this is what all that information is all about. Now you can scroll back in. I know you don't need a lesson on the census, but this gives you a lot of good information. This will give you the street and the road, the house number, the number of household, whether it's owned, the value of the home, and is it on a farm? So there, a lot of things, relationship to the person, relationship of this person to the head of the household. So it'd be like if you're the head, like granddaddy was the head of the household, then grandma would be his wife and mom his daughter, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they have what they call borders, which I've seen that on there, which I guess is somebody that might be helping with the property or the farm or whatever, and they're providing them some place to stay and stuff like that. So it'll tell you everything. I'll just the whole 9 yards. So I have read many a census over the years and got a lot of good information that comes across it. This is a little bit more difficult because you have to go through all of the whole that gambit of stuff to find out. So, all right, so we're going to get out of that and we'll go back. And so I am going to go back to people. And what I'm going to do at this point is I am going to start bringing down the information that I have into a series of notebooks that it's only going to be a direct line back from me and forward from me, because I already have as many papers and as many information of extended family as I can on this computer program. So I personally don't need that. But if my kids was to come in and say, Mom, what is my granddaddy 3 generations back? I'm going to be able to pick up this book right here. It's going to be our family tree, and it's got the same thing as my journal does on the bottom of it. And I'm going to be able to look in here, and it's going to have each generation plus 3. Like I said, is my great grandkids, kids, and then me. So from me backwards will be all my direct line grandmothers and grandfathers. But as you're doing your research, I've said this before, but as you're doing your research, remember that the books that you have as you're going back doing your genealogy is going to have to be a lot larger than the ones you're doing to start with, because you're going to have, like me, I'm going to have 4 great grandkids, 6 grandkids, 4 kids, and then it'll come up to me and Timmy. But from me and Timmy backwards, it's going to be me and Timmy, then his mom and dad, my mom and dad, and then going back. So each year that you do it, you start out with 2, that multiplies to 4, 4 multiplies to 8, 8 does the 16, 16 does the 32. And that's only back so many generations. So each generation that you go back, you are going to have to multiply those numbers by each other in order to figure out how many ancestors you should have. Now, do not get any idea that you're going to find them all, because some people, their families didn't keep their information. It just didn't. You'll go back, and then you'll come up with, especially with this ancestry.com, you can go back in 2 or 3 steps from today, and you can find one little tidbit of information. And information is all you need, because once you put that information into the search engine, you will then be able to find 2 or 3 more generations back. Don't go overwhelmed and try like I did. Let me show you. I went in and found a program on Hezekiah Madison Hankins. That's this fella right here, right there. So I was researching back. All of these papers come open, all of them. So then I was getting so overwhelmed, I had to go in and print that information out so that you'll see on here that I went through and check marked it all off and verified each and every detail on each and every generation, matched it with mine, made sure it was correct, make sure that I could go back. And then when I got back on this one fella's site, we were perfect until we got back to it was John Hankins, which was the father of Moses Hankins, which we did. Moses was fine. From Moses on down was fine. I didn't have a problem. But he said Moses's father was James. And my paperwork, all the work that I had done, said Moses's father was John. But now when you went back from James, that his father's name, John's and James' father's name, was also Moses. So I was like, that's how come I had to print all that paper out, just so that I could chase it down. So in chasing it down, I found out that my records actually came, John and James were brothers. My information come down from Moses to John to Moses to John. They did 4 generations the same thing. Where his come from Moses to James to Moses. But we ended up same Hezekiah Madison Hankins. So when I went back and looked, his James Hankins had married an Elizabeth Quicksall. I have James who married an Elizabeth Quicksall, also in my family. And it was the brother of John, who was granddaddy's granddaddy. So you have to be really careful. It is fun if, like I said, if you have a little bit of a mystery sleuth type person in you and you like to find useful information, just don't fall into the trap of everything on the internet is correct. Because if you don't have somebody that's they're just cutting and pasting, or in this case, merging, you're going to have 55 different pieces of information that's going to come up on that. Like they all have 5 or 6 different births and 3 or 4 different marriages. I went through one, I think I told y'all last time, I went through one that married the same person 4 different times, 4 different dates. It wasn't a different person. It was 4 different dates because they had merged up in so much that each person had a different marriage date for that person. So now that information is up in the air and I have to make notes. Okay, this note for this person is verify when they were married. Well, I was able to do that, but not necessarily with the particular one that I found. I had to go back and find 2 or 3 other ones that verified her marriage date on like marriage certificates or death certificates, or something else that they had. You can verify it that way. But there was like a 10-year span between the time they first got married and the time they got married the fourth time. It had 4 different dates on it, but it was the same person. So that back in the day, if they got married, if they had children, they're going to get married within, probably before the child is born, but definitely within the first year or so, unless the person just comes in and flies a coop and hides somewhere. But if they're the ones that's verified that that's the dad, they're pretty much going to be at least in the kid's life, probably the whole time that they're married. That don't happen anymore, but it did years ago. So, all right, guys, I don't know how long I've been on here. I don't know how long this particular video is, but I am going to jump off. That is how you take it back. I took Granddaddy Johnson. Let me bring him up. Granddaddy Johnson. I had him and was taking him back. I don't know how far I went because I wasn't able to save that particular one, but I know I took Granddaddy and Grandma Johnson backwards. Okay. And there's more information that's going to come in them too. So I wanted to tie the other side in and show you how easy it was to be able to tie that other side in by simply adding a child. Now, let's see. Let's go to trying to think here. Anyway, if you have somebody like Timmy has 2 uncles that married sisters, so now he has 2 aunts and 2 uncles. So if you wanted to bring in the second wife to the second one, then you would have to go in and you would have to either merge 2 individuals together if you wrote it down, put it in there, or you would have to attach a spouse, a father, a child, which you can do. All you got to do is go up in here into person. And the thing is to attach a father, a mother, a spouse, a child, or you can, whoever the person is, you can deselect them. That detach them away. Like if I hit that, I could detach Granddaddy Johnson from Grandma Johnson. I don't want to do that. So, but you could do it if, say, you'd put the wrong person in, or you have inadvertently get in the information that wasn't correct, and now the correct is, you can deselect that person. You can delete that person. Here, you can delete them. Deleting them it'll take them off the computer and take them out. Say, if I was to delete Robert Johnson right now, then he would be deleted off there. Grandma would still be under there, but you wouldn't have him in as the father anymore. So we don't want to do that. If we don't want to delete somebody, we want to detach them if at all possible. That keeps them inside the program, so you can pick them back up and reattach them if the need becomes necessary. You can merge 2 particular persons. I don't have 2 that are the same, but if I did, and I have had them to come in like that, where they would be 2 people with the exact same information married to the exact same person. So I simply merge those 2 individuals in. It'll tell you, do you want to back it up before you do it? So I suggest maybe do a backup on your individual program, and it gives you let's see, I'm thinking, let that get back up there. You're going up into here, other, no, source. One of these I seen yesterday. This one right here will tell you if you have any errors. It says on here, Missouri Ellis, her death and marriage date are missing. That's because I haven't really done them on this side. Mom, possible duplicate event. And in Joseph. So let's go back and see what moms, go back to people. Let's go to mom. Okay, let's see. What possible duplicate event? Hmm. I don't see one. I have to, I haven't seen that come up before. I'd say it's where I put the information in from granddaddy. Let's see if I can go back to publish. Now, see, it's not in. Yeah, it is. The birth date is that duplicated. And that had to have come off of that census that we did. So we know that this is her birth date. So we're good. Well, before I start coughing again, guys, I will call this a good one on this side. And next week, we'll go back and fill in the details on Granddaddy Johnson's side and take it back another generation. Because, like you said, when I get done, I'll have all these pages filled. Okay, guys, y'all have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you later. Bye bye.